Welcome to 108 Gate. We are doing the masculine reading. The feminine reading is up. Quite an insightful reading. If you haven't checked it out yet, I highly recommend you do so. Very informative and proactive. So for the Divine Masculine reading, here we go. Awareness and compassion. I can see where that would fit in with the feminine reading, so do check that out. It should be in its playlist, or in the daily list it'll be the one before this one. Welcome to new subscribers. Thank you for being here again. Everyone else. Here we go. Awareness and compassion. So because it feels so disconnected, it feels like it's hindered, it feels like it's stopping access. It may be that, are you actually aware of how to be compassionate for self? Are you aware of what others being compassionate to you feels like? Wow, clarity around this coming in. That felt like a whoosh, a flow of energy coming in, a flow of information coming in. Wow, okay. Right, I'm going to slow right down because this is quite a complex energy. Where in the past you have been in the Nine of Swords energy, that being you didn't have the compassion that you wanted, you didn't have the sorry if the volume, there was scratchy or anything on the audio. I hope that's clearer. So if in the past you didn't have the compassion towards you that you needed or wanted, and felt like in fact someone was being very unkind to you, and certain examples of that, certain events of that have left you in a very lonely, isolated space, needing compassion, and then worrying at night, what am I going to do? So it may be that you found out something had been untoward, or somebody was lying, or that somebody was going to help you with something and then they dropped out at the last minute, something like that. Where that goes, follow it a little bit where you feel courageous enough to do so, and bring the awareness up of where that was not compassionate towards you, and where that led you to start picking up patterns, defense mechanisms, and patterns of starting to be reprimanding of yourself. So what I'm hearing and feeling now is, if there are examples of the certain people, I'm not saying there's anyone in particular, I'm saying there's certain people that you might know of that doesn't matter how they're speaking to you, they always sound like they're angry at you. Doesn't matter when they're speaking to you, they always seem like they've got a chip on the shoulder, or they just communicate in a very derogatory or angry, that's just their tone. You kind of associate it with them. But on some subconscious level, on some unconscious level, you've took it personally, as if you've done something wrong, as if you're always in the wrong, as if you've... so for example, if someone's always a bit doomy gloomy, but even if they're having a good day, they're a bit doomy gloomy or pessimistic, and you've just heard that constantly, and then you start shifting to it, and then you start having things like the Nine of Swords coming up, because your automatic reaction is, well, this happened, relied on them, they let me down, therefore it's going to always be that way. This happened, they're constantly speaking to me in that way. They wouldn't speak to me in that way if I hadn't done something wrong. So maybe I've done something wrong. I have done something wrong. I'm doing something wrong. Constantly punishing self, constantly reprimanding self as a result of that. That anguish is empty, is futile, is based on nothing. A lot of that worry and tension within self is futile and based on nothing. Therefore, coming back with clarity and understanding seriously, where was that actually a legit worry? Where was it a legitimate concern? Where was it that you actually did something wrong and therefore actually needed punishment, actually needed reprimanding? Or were you just feeling this resembles something. It resembles a time when you were punished because of something you may have done wrong, but then you've just kind of carried on, and then got used to that pain, got used to that sting of self-punishment. And the self-punishment coming in now as a defence mechanism, because then if someone else comes in and tries to punish you, tries to hurt you, you've already hurt yourself, so you've kind of got your defences up a lot. I've already become accustomed to this. I've already become acclimatised to this. I've already got used to this. Therefore, if I hurt myself, it's not going to hurt as much as someone else comes and hurts me. That ain't going to work where you're going. That ain't going to work where you want to be. On some level, I feel like a lot of you already know this, but when it's heard, and when you say it to yourself, and when you actually stop and think about it, it becomes more obvious and less of a hypothetical thought. Right, Page of Wands. You know what you need to do. You need to whack away. You need to stop this. You need to bring an end and a close to this self-detrimental talk. You need to start seeing more of the positives of yourself and start seeing where you can be empowered, where you're not needing to punish yourself anymore, where you haven't done anything worthy of being punished to this level, Nine of Swords level. And if you're in that cycle of you're doing something and then you feel like you're perpetually being taken away from it, or it's been taken away from you, something good, and you just feel like you've got stuck in a cycle of, oh well, I'm being punished. Oh well, I'm being punished. Well, what's going to happen with that? You're going to keep getting punished. Don't accept it as a norm. Bring in the clarity of how can I stop this? Bring in the clarity of why do I do this? Where did it start? Why did it happen? Not getting stuck in that, just allowing yourself to be in awareness of it, so you can bring compassion to it, bring some self-forgiveness to it, and allow it to be gone. Seven of Wands in the masculine energy. You had Seven of Wands in the feminine energy reading too. So Seven of Wands, the conflict here is that you're not able to see where some of this Nine of Wands, currently you're not able to see a lot of where this Nine of Swords energy is, because you're not able to see the truth of some people. You're not able to see the truth of some people's intentions. It's easier to think that put this person on a pedestal, they're going to stay on a pedestal. I can't be wrong about that person, therefore I will distort myself, I will distort my approach, I will distort how I behave, therefore that person was correct. On some level, in some ways, it's there and it's got to work. It's not going to work long term. It's not going to work now when you're pulling certain things along with you, when you're elevating and you're going to a new higher space of consciousness, subconsciousness, emotionally. It's just not going to work. You're not going to be able to take it with you. Therefore, having to reassess with this clarity where this conflict has come from, why this conflict is still there, why are you holding on to this conflict, why are you still being unkind to yourself in many ways. I think this has been coming up before. It's coming up again for a reason. So, I just had a card fly out. Ten of Wands, mastering this. You've got to master this. This is feeling like this is what has to be done next. This is the next steps. This is your next part of call. Let's get a card for this space so we know how, what, some insight is required about this. Excuse me. 10 of Coins. You just don't value yourself enough. You don't value what you really mean to some people. You don't value really what you're capable of. You don't value all that you've achieved. I said it in the feminine reading. You've got to stand, and it was in the reading yesterday, sorry, that taking that moment to really, really appreciate what you have, what you've achieved, who you are, what you've done, where you're going towards, and having the stamina, the courage, the strength to go ahead and still go into that, having the love to forgive, genuinely, sincerely forgive some things that may have been really difficult to forgive, but you've got there, you're doing it in a way that's compassionate for others. But are you being compassionate for yourself? Are you being compassionate to yourself? Are you being forgiving of yourself for having got into certain situations, circumstances before? it needs to be done for your own benefit. It needs to be a part of your next part of your practice, because it's necessary. I'm going to put that there and bring it down. Sorry about the glare. Get one more for here. Awareness, compassion. There's so much that you're just for those of you who's resonating with this, there's so much potential that's ready to just like fly in, but it can't come in if you keep pushing it away. So let's keep going. 4 of coins. Four of coins. Looking at what you have instead of what you don't have. Looking at where you're going instead of where you've been. Looking up. So there's one particular deck. The reason I stopped and cause I kept seeing the manga deck. I don't have the manga deck anymore, but the 4 of coins, very, very sorrowful image of a person. So it's only got. It feels that I've only got 4 coins instead of saying I've got 4 coins. 1 more than 3, 2 more than 2, 3 more than 1. I've got 4 coins. And also forgetting to understand that those coins may not just be of silver, they may be of gold. And even if they're of silver, like they're of silver, they're 4 coins. So start looking to the what do I have? Where am I benefiting? What do I have? And how have I accumulated these? Appreciating the energy and the time and the work you've put into getting the resources you have, getting to where you are right now. Really acknowledge that, because that's what's going to bring in the energy of compassion and awareness of how you can be compassionate towards yourself and how to expand and strengthen the compassion for yourself. This is not as straightforward as the feminine reading. It does feel like there's more parts to come, but it feels like this has got to percolate first. I highly recommend you go to the feminine reading and see what's going on there. It does feel like it's informing this masculine reading too. So for now, I'm going to say it's a bit confusing on some level. If it works, it works. But there's a lot of question marks around this. There's a lot of processing that has to happen for this to move forward and to move on from where it currently is. So for now, peace and love.